Welcome to Programming Corner. In this video, we are going to talk about stack. And today's question is how to sort a stack using a temporary stack. For those who are new to stack is a data structure that functions on first in, first out philosophy. There are three operations on stack that we can perform. Push, through which we can add a new element on top of stack. Pop, through which we can delete element on top of stack. Top, or sometimes it's called pick, through which we can look at the topmost element of a stack without removing it. Now let's get back to the question we have. Suppose we are given an arbitrary sized stack. How can we sort its element in ascending order? Note that stack doesn't allow a random walk over its elements. Let's start with the basic case, solve it based on intuitions, and build our solution on top of that. Imagine stack of size 1. We just have one element. Well, that's good for us. It's already sorted. Now let's visualize a stack of size 2. We can have two cases, a stack either in ascending order or in descending order. If it's in descending order, we need to perform some actions to get it into right order. Think of how you would do it with the help of another stack. Here is what we can do. Pop an element from a stack. Move it to the temporary stack. Pop the second element. If the second element is less than the top of the temporary stack, move top of the temporary stack back to the original stack and put back the second element. Here, we transfer the number 92 back to the original stack by popping from the temp stack and pushing on the initial stack. Next, we push 3 back to the initial stack. Now let's continue this intuition with a stack of size 3. If you observe carefully, the higher numbers in the initial stack should move towards the downwards. How can we do this with the help of temp stack? Like before, we start popping the top element from the initial stack. If temp stack is empty, we push the current on top of temporary stack. Now, we move to the next top element of initial stack. In here, it's 1. If you relate to the final state that we need, 30 should be below number 1 in initial stack. Now at this point, we ask ourselves two questions. Is temporary stack empty? No. Is current element less than the top of stack element, the temporary one I am referring to? Here the answer is yes. So we need to transfer 30 back to the initial stack. At this point, we haven't looked at the entire initial stack. So we hold number 1 on temp stack by push operation. We repeat the same exercise for the initial stack. Current is now 30. We ask same two questions here. Is temp stack empty? No. Is top of temp stack greater than the current one? No. So we push number 30 on top of temp stack. Next, we are at 92. We again ask those same two questions. Is temporary stack empty? No. Is top of temp stack greater than the current? No. So we move number 92 to the top of temp stack. If you have observed closely, what we are doing is building temp stack in descending order until the initial stack is exhausted. Now we can put back elements in temp stack one by one by popping top to initial stack. And finally, we will have the initial stack in sorted order with minimum number on top. Let's map this into a pseudocode. What we have is, we create a temporary stack while input stack is not empty, like while it's not exhausted. Pop the element from stack and we call it current. While the temporary stack is not empty or top of the temp stack is greater than the current, we push the top of temp stack back to the initial stack because those are the heavier numbers than the current one. We push the current on top of temporary stack because we are not exhausted with the initial stack yet. And finally, temp stack will be having sorted elements in reverse order, that is max element at top. We need to have it in ascending order, so we do pop operation and push on the initial stack until we are exhausted with the temp stack. Here is the pseudocode that is similar to a programming language rather than English statements. Hope you like this video. Like, share and subscribe to our channel for more interesting talks in future.